We are following developments concerning radioactive and industrial contamination in Niagara County. 2 on your side's Nate Benson has been investigating this story for us and found documents that show an alarming revelation. He's joining us now with this 2 on your side original story. Nate?
Yeah, good evening, Courtney. One of the questions I've had as the situation has unfolded is who knew what and when? And as it turns out, state and federal agencies knew there was contaminated slag problems in Niagara County since at least 1981, possibly as far back as 1953. For 45 years, state and federal agencies knew that contaminated slag and other potentially dangerous waste products from the industrial efforts to win World War II were scattered throughout Niagara County.
It's kind of like we've just been waiting for a game of Russian roulette to come to the surface.
This is not conjecture or hyperbole or pointing of fingers. It's a simple fact that at the state and federal level, this was known 45 years ago, but there was never a widespread effort or program to clean it up and remove it. Niagara County played a significant role in the industrial and military effort to win World War II. We've told you before about the Lake Ontario Ordnance Works Site, a massive TNT production facility that was ultimately turned into a storage site for Manhattan Project-related waste materials. Numerous companies like Bethlehem Steel, Linde Air Products, Simon Saw and Steel, and Electromet, a division of Union Carbide, manufactured products and refined materials that ultimately led to the creation of the atomic bomb. And the waste materials of those initiatives very often wound up at the former Lake Ontario Ordnance Works Site. Fast forward, or rewind, to 1981, when an explosive report was issued by the New York State Assembly Task Force on Toxic Substances. This was in the wake of the Love Canal disaster. Titled The Federal Connection, a history of U.S. military involvement in the toxic contamination of Love Canal and the Niagara Frontier region. The 293-page report outlined in detail the very problem that property owners are facing in Niagara County today. Slag from the Manhattan Project storage site or industrial slag waste from other generators was removed and spread as fill throughout the county. An anecdote from the report specifically cites incidents in 1953 where, quote, in almost routine practice whereby the foreman permitted other workers to use Atomic Energy Commission trucks to transport rock slag from the site to their homes for driveway paving, clean fill, etc. Investigators found the practice was so routine, one worker's wife was asked by a neighbor if her husband was, in her words, getting in on the gravy at the site. The 1981 report also highlights radioactive phosphorus slag was likely dumped in Love Canal along with other chemical wastes. Slag that was generated at the Electromet operations in Niagara Falls was at one time stored at Low, but then later transported off-site by unauthorized personnel. According to the 1981 report, for years, perhaps even decades, there was no real oversight over the way this material was being stored, and no way to know how much contaminated material left the former Low site or other waste facilities. Aaron Robinson, professor of sociology and environmental studies at Canisius University, says with so much attention being given to Love Canal in the late 70s and 80s,
I think that a lot of what happened there, they thought this was a good fix. The work that we've done in talking to different officials over the time, it was, well, not my problem. It'll be the next of the leadership in these different administrations.
The 1981 Assembly report also highlights several other issues and mainly pointed the finger at the federal government for its role in some of the contamination Niagara County is facing. Those issues include the Manhattan Engineering District disposing of 37 million gallons of radioactively contaminated chemical waste in underground wells. Civilian workers at various plants in the Niagara Frontier region were exposed to excessive levels of radiation, and government documents reveal that on several occasions, federal officials misled local government representatives and the public concerning the nature of the federal activity at Low and the extent of the radiological hazard. Mind you, all of these revelations were made in 1981. They knew back in 81 there was a problem. There was not, at least at the state level, a mobilization of resources to solve the problem.
Right.
And here we are 45 years later, rediscovering this problem.
Right. I think that until it became or becomes a problem where you see actual human health at risk in a public health forum, and you can say that the exposure to this chemical in this space has caused this cancer, unfortunately, that's the burden of proof that's necessary to put that kind of effort into motion. And back then, they just didn't.
While there has been sporadic EPA Superfund cleanups in Niagara County over the years and decades, there was never a program by state or federal government agencies to go street by street, block by block, taking it all back through a program of testing and remediation at a widespread level. Despite that, the big takeaway, beyond a shadow of a doubt, no one at the state or federal level can say we didn't know, right?
Right. No, I firmly believe that. I think what we could add to that sentence, we didn't know when it might become another problem.
Now, I reached out to both the EPA and DEC for this story and did not get a response tonight. As we previously reported, cleanup at the Niagara Falls storage site is underway, and all radioactive material being stored there is expected to be removed by 2038 and cost nearly $1 billion. On your side, Nate Benson, Channel 2 News.